Hello and welcome everyone to this very, very special Odoo Partnership webinar. My name is Corey and I'm joined below me by Josiah.
Thanks, Corey. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be covering Odoo Partnership specifically in Australia. We're going to cover a little bit about Odoo and our growth journey in Australia so far. But before we do that, Corey, why don't we give a quick self-intro?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, my name is Corey Lency. I work in the partner management team here at Odoo. I started in partner recruitment, made my way through to partner enablement, and now I'm sitting in the key account management team. Basically, that's how it looks for me. What about yourself, Joe?
So I've been managing the partner channel here in Australia for the last 2 years. I myself have been in Odoo for the last 7 years, nearabouts. Started my journey in Odoo Hong Kong, which was at the time, still is our regional office. And throughout that time, I've been working with partners and I've witnessed the growth that we've seen throughout our markets and especially in Australia. So why don't we start there? Why don't we start with where that growth has led us today?
Absolutely. Well, basically, it's led us from a small farm in Belgium to 21 offices around the world in every continent. We're sitting right now in the Gold Coast office here in Australia, and this office has been here since 2023. There are a couple of figures on the screen right now. What can we take from them, Joe?
Well, we can see that we have over 8,000 employees around the world. We can see that we have over 23,000 official partners around the world, 28 million happy users. As a collective, I believe what these figures represent is that Odoo is solving very real problems for real businesses around the world. We're seeing customers adopt Odoo to solve their problems, to work for their businesses. And we're also seeing massive opportunities for tech companies, business consultants, etc., to jump in on that growth and start offering services on Odoo to their customers.
Yeah, well, as we've grown, basically what we've seen is a lot of household names around the world start to back us. So we're going to take a deeper dive into that right now.
Yeah, so we've received some pretty cool endorsements over the years, as you can see on screen. Corey, what does this mean for potential partners?
I think the first thing that I would consider is you could piggyback on the confidence that we get from the capital backing, strong joint ventures, for example, and just the general good relationship we have with trusted business advisors. It's also a bit of a proof of concept that we're not necessarily a small or temporary business anymore. If you look at Forbes, for example, on the slides, what you'll see is that they're backing us for larger businesses as well, not just SMEs.
Absolutely, and you can see back in Belgium, back in our home country, we also partnered with KPMG, with Deloitte, for them to offer our solution to their clients. So we can see that there is a real solution here.
Okay, and look, for those of you who aren't familiar today, what we can do now is essentially look at what kind of solution Odoo actually offers to businesses.
Absolutely. So in a nutshell, for those of you that are not familiar, Odoo offers an all-in-one solution that covers all business needs. In Australia and all over the world, we see many different point solutions that cover specific business scopes, which end up leaving SMEs and other businesses in a web of subscriptions and technical integrations. We take the example of a new clothing brand, for example, that wants to start operating in Australia. They might have some great designs, some great creatives at that company, but the first thing they need to do is know where they're going to sell their product. So they might take a leading e-commerce software, for example. They might be great at doing the e-commerce part. They build a beautiful website, but before too long, they realize they need to pay that tax, don't we all? And at that point, they realize they need an accounting software. So they might take a leading accounting software in Australia. Now, all of a sudden, we need to integrate the accounting software with our e-commerce software. As we grow, we might see that we actually require a physical store. So we need to use a point of sale software now as well. We also want to hire new people. So we want to use a recruitment platform. We might want to have a HR management system or even an inventory system as well. And very quickly, we're going to end up with a lot of different softwares doing a lot of different things, great softwares. But now we have a lot of different subscriptions to pay and we have a lot of different softwares that need to speak to each other.
And that basically means that for a partner, there are opportunities by business and industry for different entry points into our ecosystem and the market. So basically what Odoo is letting businesses do now is it enables them to grow into more apps than they might need in the present day. And there's no pressure for when they do this. You can basically work to guarantee less system disconnect and let your clients scale when it actually makes more sense for both of you.
Absolutely. Odoo offers a lot in standard. It offers a lot out of the box, and it's a great platform as well to add value on top of. Some of you may know that Odoo is an open source platform. So why don't we take a quick look at what makes Odoo operate under the hood?
Okay, well, first of all, the database management solution that we operate on is PostgreSQL. That's backed by the back-end robust programming languages, Python, JavaScript, CSS. They're very well known, they're very reliable, and they're very learnable, which I think is very important if you find that entry into this industry a little bit daunting. The combination of these different softwares gives us quite a stable and flexible value proposition. And beyond that, like Joe said, we are open core, so you get access to our source code, which is essentially the key to the safe. And with that, you can develop new modules, you can develop API to other systems if you have to, and you can essentially develop your own modules as well.
Absolutely. Now, as we've just mentioned, out of the box, as a default, does ensure that you're prioritizing your consulting service rather than your development service. The best partners that we see around Australia and indeed the world are partners that focus on 80% standard and use a bit of technical customization to cover some gaps, to really stretch the limits of as what Odoo can do. And if you do end up building a module, for example, for a specific vertical, specific industry, or something that your expertise aligns with, you can also sell it on our app store to reach a global audience.
Definitely, and I think this speaks to the confidence we have in our system. We're not essentially gatekeeping any IP. We're not hiding behind paywalls or inhibiting your ability to capitalize on what you develop. I think it's a good opportunity as well for you as the partner to develop a long-lasting bond, maybe even a tri-party bond, where we can all share a good connection with our customers for the long term.
Absolutely, and trust really is key here. So why don't we have a quick look at some of the companies already using Odoo in Australia and beyond?
Happy to. This is actually my favorite part. Our customers operate across several different industries, as you can see on the screen: engineering, supply chain, your everyday stuff like retail, garden care, just general leisure.
Yeah, we see a really broad spectrum of industries here on the screen. We have Kagome, one of the largest, or if not the largest, tomato processor in Australia. We also see other food processors. We have Cookie Time in New Zealand. You see Daniel's Donuts as well down there too. As well as workwear, we see retail. So we can see that Odoo is solving real-world challenges for businesses across our market.
Absolutely. We can actually look at some stats on the screen in a second that sort of speak to how Odoo is growing into the Aussie market.
Yeah, absolutely. We can see that we have 850 new customers that came on board in 2025. Overall, that is a growth rate of about 60% year on year, and that equals about 70 new businesses every single month. So we can see that the growth really is massive.
Yeah, adoption is definitely the real deal in Australia and New Zealand, to be completely honest. We're definitely here to stay. So, we're talking about facts and figures. Let's take a bit of a deeper dive into what the trends look like throughout different states. Basically, where should you as a new partner be looking?
Absolutely. So of the around about 2,500 Odoo customers that we have in Australia, we can see from this map here that our most popular region, or our most dense region in terms of customers, is indeed Victoria, with 31% of our customer base. Now, does that mean Victoria is oversaturated? Not at all. This only represents 1% of the business landscape in Victoria, so still plenty of room to grow. Following that, we see New South Wales and Queensland, so we have a real good presence on the East Coast, but also in Western Australia. Hey, to all of you people joining from Perth today.
Brilliant. Yeah, and look, if you're in Queensland, feel free to stop by and say good day to us in the office. Speaking more to industries now, Joe, could you please maybe share a little bit of insight as to who's actually jumping on the bandwagon the quickest so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the last slide, we have a real range of industries all using Odoo, but we can talk about what are the most popular ones so far in Australia. We actually have 25% of our customer base using manufacturing. So we can see that we have a real gap or real need for manufacturing businesses in Australia to use not only our amazing manufacturing software, but also an all-in-one platform that can encompass all of their other business operations at the same time. We also have 25% of our market in the wholesale retail space. So think inventory, think barcodes, think logistics, think sales, invoicing, purchase orders, all of that sort of stuff. The rest of the 50% is a real mix. We have a lot of construction, we have service-based companies, we have some healthcare providers, and of course, some mining companies as well. So on that note, let's dig a little bit deeper into some of Odoo's strengths.
Well, look, a typical use case that you see from Odoo is basically a mess, a bit of a web of different systems, maybe tangled operations and connected tech debt, as some of us like to say, fragmented descriptions, off-cycle billing. It's a little bit convoluted. On screen, we're basically looking at what they unearth when they use Odoo. It's a unified platform. It's flexible. And essentially, it's the ERP golden ticket. It's all of these amazing functionalities at what we would generally consider a much, much lower cost. It's also what I think we've assessed at this point to be the lowest price ERP in the entire market for the most reasonable price with the highest scope.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked about out of the box, but we've also talked about the fact that it is flexible. It is open core. So as a partner, you can build on top of Odoo's platform, build your own modules, build integrations with other softwares as well. If we go back to the example that we used before of the clothing, the new clothing brand that's wanting to start in Australia, what we see is, okay, they start with their maybe their e-commerce site or maybe their accounting software, and then they end up in this web. But what if they really can't let go of one of those softwares, right? You know, what if their accountant really is not willing to part ways with the accounting software that they're using, or maybe their website is already very optimized for search engines, that sort of thing. Well, Odoo can replace 80%, it can replace 90%. I believe it can replace 100%, but in some cases, you're going to want to integrate with with one of their existing platforms. And you can do that with Odoo. So it's no surprise that we've seen the growth that we have with the offer that we have on screen. But now let's talk about partnership, requirements and benefits.
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked. It's very, very important. What we're going to do is focus on requirements first, because we basically hold partners to a reasonably high standard here at Odoo. But don't worry too much, because once you get to that shiny gold partnership level, it's definitely worth it. Basically, there are 3 levels for official partnership. We have our ready partnership, where your KPI to basically bring in 10 new users per cycle per year, generally speaking, and you need to get certified, which is something that you're probably going to hear a lot today. Beyond that, we have our silver official partnership level. Now, this takes things to the next level. You need 75 new users per cycle as a silver partner, and you need 3 certified experts when you become a silver partner. Now, sitting at a ready partnership, you get 10% commission on the licenses you sell. In silver, you get 15. Leading us into gold partnership now, you're looking at 300 new users with 6 certified experts, but the incentive scales up once again. You're looking at 20% commission on the licenses you sell. But it doesn't end there either, because we also incentivize people to use our hosting platform. So you can earn commission on Odoo SH. It's an added bonus essentially for bringing those larger and trickier customers who may need some of those integrations that Joe was talking about, hosted with Odoo at its core. Commissions also don't just apply when you sell. So we like to incentivize retention. We want those long-term relationships, which means that on renewals or upsells, you get commission as well.
Absolutely. And we want to prioritize that happy customers, excellent implementations are the priority number 1. So the partner KPIs that we have for our partners reflect that. They reflect capacity. How many new projects can you do in 1 year? As a gold partner, you need to make sure that you have a team big enough to be able to make a big impact on our market. We look at expertise, how many people you have certified, and we look at customer retention as well. All right. So we've talked a little bit about commission now. Why don't we talk a little bit more about monetization? We've talked about the commission from a ready partner to a gold partner. That's going to be between 10 to 20%. And then, as Corey mentioned, you also have a 50% commission level on Odoo SH. Now, Odoo SH is the hosting platform developed by us for Odoo, for partners, to deploy sub-modules, to make developments. And we incentivize you to use it by giving you this 50%. So it's a really, really good thing to take advantage of. Following from that, as we mentioned earlier, you can also sell your modules on the App Store, and you will keep 70% of all of your sales revenue that you make. That allows you to tap into Odoo's global audience, global user base, if you make a module that you think has some real value. And last but not least, your service revenue. This is the bread and butter of partners. At the end of the day, as a partner, your main goal is to deliver implementations and value-add services to your customers. And with average implementation rates per hour in Australia ranging from 200 to 300, again, sometimes they go higher, this is where you are going to be making the bulk of your revenue.
Okay, well, look, there's some very, very fair points. I think what we really should be doing right now is looking at a real-world example. So on the next slide, we're going to analyze the ROI of a single project to basically see the math in action.
Absolutely. So this is quite a regular project that we would see, especially for a new partner. We've got 15 users here. We've got a commission level, and we've got some service estimates. So Corey, why don't you break it down?
Absolutely. Well, like Joe said, it's a fairly standard setup. We see this quite a lot. 15 users hosted on Odoo SH, roughly $10,000 subscription value. Now, obviously, there can be a plus or minus of no real limit when it comes to that figure. It all depends on what the customer needs, how many users there are, etc. So basically, from this specific deal, the partner will receive roughly $930 in license commission, which is good on its own. But then you also get about $680 from the Odoo SH component. So that's over $1,600 in commission on what would reasonably be a common or somewhat small and achievable project. The larger revenue opportunity here is the actual service revenue that's involved. If we're looking at 200 hours, or maybe even 100 hours at $200 an hour, that's about 20 grand, which is not bad for a first project, right, Joe?
Not bad at all. And this realistically could take less than a month to implement. The beauty of Odoo and what we promote most of all is our quick start methodology, which is getting a customer live as soon as possible with their Odoo system, right? So most partners will actually be able to do multiple projects of this type, of this scale, simultaneously with each other, which will maximize your resource usage.
Yeah, and basically what that also means for you is that your initial investment to become an official partner with us is covered very quickly. You start to see revenue very quickly, and you start to see a quick ROI, which I'm sure is very important for all of you. You want to essentially make sure that partnership pays for itself. You basically want your kickoff client to become a reference for you and become a success story for you that empowers your scalable and recurring revenue. So it sounds to me like we do generate quite a lot of commission, right, Joe?
A fair bit, a fair bit. As you can see on this slide, last year in 2025, we generated $9 million, Australian dollars, of commission paid to partners. Now, of course, the more projects that you do, the more projects you complete, and the more customers that you make sure remain happy, the more commission you're going to make, and the more service revenue you're going to make.
Look, and we love partners that aim high, so please feel free to be ambitious. We're here to support, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Even though a typical project might be 15 to 20 users, nothing's stopping you from shooting for the moon. Project complexity can easily turn that $20,000 we studied on the previous slide into $100,000, maybe more. You need to essentially value your service, value what we offer, and start to imagine what multiple of these in 1 year could look like for you.
Absolutely. And remember, existing subscriptions also are generating revenue. Not only the commission that we've mentioned, but also for your recurring services as well, maintenance services, upgrades, all of that sort of stuff, expansion of scopes. And our happy clients, they renew on longer term contracts as well, up to 5 years, which will give you a larger lump sum commission upfront. We also provide customer success agents based here in Australia that are going to work with all of your Odoo customers, all of your existing Odoo customers, to identify renewal opportunities, to identify upsell opportunities, and areas where you can also propose new phases of implementation. All right. So now let's look at how else we support our customers through this partnership, through working together.
Well, absolutely. Primarily what we're looking at is the ability for us as your partner managers, for example, to leverage your talent. And then in contrast, the opportunity for you to leverage our resources at Odoo and in us as individuals to support end clients and basically bring Odoo to customers. For example, as a partner manager, I may provide licenses. I might be able to help you negotiate multi-year deals with the customer, which means more commission. It means better security for all of us and an opportunity for you to monetize long-term services and understand what your pipeline is going to yield beyond just right now. Odoo itself as an entity provides the hosting and security that customers need to be successful. Obviously, we have our SaaS solution online, which is a little bit more out of the box. And to double down on what we've already said, we have Odoo SH. It's basically where we often live, more often than not live, in this business unit, basically here in this partnership network. It's a containerized development environment. It has the API support and the code editor tools that we keep mentioning that are there for your benefit and the customer's benefit. Essentially, not just what we're talking about today, but everything that we don't have time to share with you today is available online as well. So don't be scared to jump on the web and look at all of our published documentation, which is free to view.
Absolutely. And as Corey mentioned, we also provide Odoo-trained sales representatives that we call partner managers to work with you on your commercial strategy, to represent Odoo in your customer meetings. It really helps build that trust, build that bond with your customer. We also offer services to partners for training, for project support, for development even. We can offer all of that. And as Corey mentioned, for our enterprise customers, we offer bug fixes. We offer basic functional support as well for them through a ticketing portal, database upgrades. We have our newest version of Odoo coming out very, very soon in September, version 20. And we offer upgrade paths for all customers for the core Odoo code. All right. Now, as we've established, this level of support comes from Odoo, comes from the partner. As a partner, you are the first layer of support for your customers. Partners are a crucial part of our mission to capture the market and have been helping us every step of the way as a partnership. Now let's take a little look at how we work together to promote ourselves, to promote you guys around the country.
Okay, well, primarily we host business shows nationwide. in just about every primary city, secondary cities in NZ as well. In fact, I just got back from one in Christchurch, and some of the team are at shows today.
Yep.
So these are really, really strong opportunities to create brand awareness for both of us. It's great for potential customers and for yourselves to see the product up close, maybe get a bit of a feel for how it looks and how it operates. It's also really good for joint marketing because we always bring partners with us to these roadshows and encourage you to bring your ancillaries and material. So it's good to get your name out there in a unified approach, I would say. And a little benefit that I like, and you may end up working with me one day, you get to be on stage with your PM, which I think is pretty cool.
Absolutely. So as Corey mentioned, we do these business shows, these trade shows around the country, but we also attend the biggest expos as well. Just last week, we were at the Online Retail Expo down in Sydney. We went to the business show, which was a big expo last year in Sydney. We went to CMET, we go to Retail Fest, and of course, Australian Manufacturing Week as well. So you'll see us at those venues, and we will be usually sponsoring with a partner as well, sometimes, to be showcasing the power of Odoo and the power of partners, right? Finally, we also work with educational institutions. We provide Odoo for free for students and for teachers to teach them about Odoo, to teach them about business, to help them get their step up for when they graduate, all right? We do this all together because we build partnerships. It's not a vendor-seller relationship. It's not a reseller model. It's a partnership. So let's look at this in a little bit more detail. Official partners are assigned a partner manager like Alba on screen and Corey.
Yeah. And we're basically here to make sure and help you navigate and deliver a few critical functions. Now, the first thing that we represent is a reliable single point of contact for you. You want to be able to achieve some consistency and talk to the same people, get to know someone, build up some rapport. And that's what we're primarily here for. Beyond that, we want to make sure that your onboarding into Odoo is as exciting and enriching as possible. We want to set goals with you and support you in achieving those, not just take the money, set and forget, and you don't get anywhere. We're going to be there for the journey, start to finish, maybe even to help you hire and expand as you grow into the ecosystem with us. One thing that we do really try to immerse ourselves in as well is support during your sales cycles. We're not just here to print quotes for you, we're here to qualify customers, demonstrate Odoo to customers, go through those Q&A sessions with you to provide a little bit more value and a bit more of an integrated approach to that sales cycle, which will lead us to stronger go-to-market strategies and conversions. We will always offer feedback and identify room for improvement, training options, and essentially help you achieve whatever goals or changes that you want to make through going down those pathways with us. And yes, whether they're your leads or our leads, we will work on them with you. Please don't be scared to cut us in. It's our bread and butter. It's what we do. It's our profile. So we will make sure that we can be transparent with you when possible. And we would hope that you would feel comfortable enough with your partner manager at the very least to be transparent with us so we can tackle these sales cycles together. In saying that, I do get asked a question quite often, and it's basically, what does lead assignation actually depend on?
Yeah, that's exactly the question that we hear a lot. And it's true, we do work on leads with our partners. So we receive leads, we receive customers looking to use Odoo, especially when they're looking more into using a more custom solution or an integrated solution. Then that is when we would identify a suitable partner and bring the partner into the negotiation as the service provider. Again, this is us working together. It's us working for the benefit of the customer, building a customer relationship together. Essentially, if you can prove that you can do successful implementations, if you can prove that you can work well with us as well, we have transparency, we build trust, then you're more likely to be able to receive those opportunities from us. At the end of the day, we're still in a very early phase of growth here in Australia, and every client is very, very important to us. Every single project that we do, we want to make sure we do it with excellence. That customer experience is guided by the partner manager, and as I said, you're brought in as the implementation expert, and we go from there, all right? We've covered a lot of ground so far. We've covered Odoo, we've covered our growth so far, we've covered the details of partnership and marketing as well. So why don't we take a look at how to actually get started? The first thing that you'll need to do is go through our partner recruitment team. You can book a meeting with them via our websites and decide on the level of partnership that you would like to start at, right? Once that is activated, you will then start your onboarding with your partner manager. So we'll assign you a partner manager and you're going to start your onboarding there. You'll then commit to your functional training. Now, this is a step that a lot of people tried to skip. They like to think that maybe they already know a lot. They have experience in other softwares or a related industry or something like that. Do not underestimate Odoo. It is a big system. There's a lot to learn, and there is a lot of different ways that you can set it up to approach various different use cases, all right? So make sure that you spend a lot of time in the functional training room. We have e-learning online, but we also recommend our partner bootcamp that we'll talk about in just a second, right? Once you've built up that Odoo expertise, you've combined that with your existing expertise, now you have something to sell. Now you have something very valuable. It's time to build your market strategy, right? Your commercial strategy. What customers are you going to target? What industries? Where are they? What size are they? And how are you going to go about targeting them? Can you leverage your existing network, your existing customer base? That is something that as partner managers, we will work on with you to make sure that we have a good strategy. We will try it, we will test it, and we'll make sure that it works, right? You also want to get certified. If we haven't mentioned already, get certified. Make sure you pass that Odoo functional certification. It's a badge of honor. It's going to be on your visible on the website where we list you as a partner. Speaking of which, make sure that your partner profile is all nicely filled out. It's got your website, it's got your references, it's got your logo, so that customers can identify you quickly and see that you are indeed a partner of Odoo. From that point, it's just about closing that first project. Once we get that first project, we make sure it's a success, make sure the customer is happy, then we look at the second, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, and look, by doing this, you'll be able to, or at least find it easier to establish a little bit more information on that website as well. We can't emphasize enough how important it is to get your logo ready, get those brand assets ready, have a description and an elevator pitch ready. Let it be known to the customers who exactly you are and what your goals are, what services you offer, what exactly they can achieve by collaborating with you, and why you're listed on our partner page. What else I would suggest is to gamify things a little bit. Do practice runs with your PM. Develop a bit of a rhythm and a cadence for how you demonstrate the system, how you qualify customers. It can't hurt to work with us to build that out, and it will do wonders for your confidence. And it also means that when you're going through that process, you can refer back to those really cool brand assets and that partner page that you've built to give yourself a little bit more credibility in the customer's eye. And if we haven't mentioned it already, get certified.
Get certified.
Definitely get certified. Very, very important. It's amazing for optics. It's good for your confidence again, which is absolutely critical. And it is a KPI at the end of the day for that official partnership tiers that we discussed before. It may mean investing more in Odoo services, of which there are plenty, and they're designed to empower your functional consultants, your developers, and members of your team. So what else I would suggest is, or at least road mapping is, marketing to your friends. It could be the friend of a friend, it could be your sister's mother's daughter's cousin. Market to someone in a somewhat of a low pressure environment, somebody that you can trust where there's no time pressure, where you can gain a little bit of a hands-on experience in implementing Odoo for the first time, build up that reference base, and again, contribute to that really handy partner page that we've been talking about.
Absolutely. So now let's look at that training that we've touched on. So here on the Gold Coast, here in our Odoo office here on the Gold Coast, we have a team of consultants. We have a team of Odoo experts who do Odoo projects day in, day out. They're also there to deliver our tried and tested method of bringing partners up to full speed when it comes to Odoo functionality and when it comes to Odoo implementation methodology. So let's have a look at that.
Well, absolutely, and it shouldn't be daunting. It's one of those things where we do offer quite a lot of support in the way of e-learning, for example. For free, we do have the e-learning suite. All you need is an Odoo account, so just go to odoo.com and sign up, and you can basically start to dabble in the e-learning that's most relevant either for what services you intend to offer or maybe what that golden first project requires. I tend to recommend accounting, inventory, manufacturing, project management, and the CRM, and then Studio once you're comfortable, because they're extremely handy. And once again, they're free. Nothing stopping you from doing it today. Official partners also get access to the partner knowledge base, which will double down a little bit on that demo knowledge. It gives you a little bit more marketing advice, and just generally speaking, gives you access to exclusive material dedicated truly to partners and nobody else. Beyond that, though, we do have paid services. You would hope so. We basically start with the bootcamp. That is what we are most known for. That is essentially roughly an 8-week course that prepares you to take that certification exam that we keep alluding to. It is quite intense. It is a time commitment. It's roughly 35 one-on-one hours with our team, which are invaluable, and I highly, highly recommend it because nothing will give you such a high-touch, dedicated learning experience as that partner bootcamp. And again, it's going to empower you to get certified, and it's going to give you bragging rights, to be completely honest.
Absolutely. And guys, I might not have mentioned at the beginning, but coming up shortly, we will have a Q&A session. So just as we finish the rest of these slides and finish off talking about the technical training, if you do have any questions about the partnership program or about how to get started or about Odoo in general, feel free to leave the questions in the live chat that we have on the YouTube stream, and we will answer them next. All right. So to finish off, we also have our technical training program. So we have the functional training program. That's our partner bootcamp. That gets you up to speed with functionality, with how to implement Odoo, how to tackle your first project. Then we have our technical training program, right? This is for your developers. This is for people that are already well-versed in Python, already well-versed in programming languages that Odoo is using, but need to get a good understanding and a good foundation of Odoo's architecture. So this is what you want to do if you want our tech team, our developer team to train you on how to build on top of Odoo. What is the OWL framework and how can we leverage it to make the most out of the developments that we do make for our customers, all right? Beyond that, we also have masterclasses. These are, once you've done your horizontal foundation in Odoo knowledge, which is the bootcamp, and you want to go a little bit deeper into specifics, maybe specifics of manufacturing, more advanced features of manufacturing, or more advanced features of e-commerce, then you can take one of our masterclasses, which are standalone courses delivered by our functional team. Finally, as well, we have our web design service. Now, this is one of my favorite services that we've started offering in recent years. We have an amazing web design team in Belgium and in Hong Kong and around the world who deliver web design trainings for you and your team. So if you're into e-commerce, if you're into web development or web design, and you want to become a partner, you can be trained to deliver amazing e-commerce platforms, fully integrated websites that are all fully integrated with the Odoo backend as well. So definitely check that out. We also provide one-to-one project management support through our partner services. If you're doing your first project, then you might want to have a little bit of a helping hand, someone to guide you, someone to have a look at how you're going to approach a project and make corrections, see what you've done. They're not going to do it for you, but they're going to be there to hold your hand and help you through that first project or beyond if you encounter a difficult project. We also have a Q&A style service where you can send tickets to our functional team here on the Gold Coast to get support. All right.
Plenty to digest right there. And to be completely transparent with all of you listening, they do give you a competitive advantage. So I can't stress enough how important some of those services are. Definitely look them up or ask some questions about them as we go. Now, as new partners, I'm sure that you have plenty of questions. So it's time to open up for a bit of a quick Q&A. Shoot them through and we'll get right on it.
Absolutely. All right. So I got one down here. Is there, do you have to complete the bootcamp to be certified? Is it a required step? It's not required to do the bootcamp to become certified. The certification you can take as a standalone exam once you've done your own learning. However, it will help massively if you go through the bootcamp. It will help you in taking that certification. All right, some of these questions we've already covered. Do you offer free sandboxes for partners? Yes, absolutely we do. There are 3 different ways that you can access Odoo as a partner. The first is by the online free trial. So this is in the Odoo Online SaaS environment. You can spin up a database today if you wanted to. You don't need to be a partner. However, as a partner, your partner manager can help you extend those trial databases. So you can get a little bit more usage if you want a longer proof of concept or you want to play around a little bit longer. The second way is with Odoo SH. We give all Odoo partners access to create development testing environments for up to 30 days on Odoo SH. This is perfect if you want to try out a new development or a new integration or run a month-long proof of concept to really showcase the value of your custom solution on Odoo. The last way is on-premise. Now, a bit of language here, but anything that's not hosted on Odoo, we like to call on-prem. Of course, it might mean that you're hosting on another hosting platform, but partners have the ability to download Odoo Enterprise source code directly from our website and spin it up onto a server of your choice or your local machine. Okay, when we are bringing the client into Odoo, where will their data be stored? This is up to you. If you choose to host with us, if you choose to host on Odoo Online or Odoo SH, then their data will be stored on our servers. If you choose to host on your own server or the customer's server, then the data will be stored there. Very importantly, we have backup and privacy and security policies in place. We also have data centers that we use all around the world. So in Australia, if you want to host, if you choose Odoo SH and you want to be hosted in Australia, we have our data center. We rent space in a Google data center down in Sydney. However, the backups of that production environment will also be kept in Europe and in Canada as well, to avoid, if anything, touch wood, happens to Australia. I'm sure it won't. So there you have it. That's where your data will be. Any other questions? How does migration from other systems happen? Corey, do you want to take a stab at that one?
Well, look, there's so many different ways that it could happen. I think the easiest thing to quickly comment on is that just about every module or model in Odoo has the ability to import based on a template. So the first thing that I would suggest is you could just download, clean some data and upload it into Odoo. That is probably the simplest and most tried and true method. What we see some partners do these days is develop little querying tools or bots that translate data and uploads it that way instead. And again, if we double down on the comments about Odoo SH, you can always test and sort of analyze how that data is performing before you commit it to a production branch of an environment.
Absolutely. All right. We've got quite a lot of questions here, so we might try and go through them quite quickly. Next question is, so to clarify, a user equals a customer. This might be in relation to our KPIs that we talked about, 10 new users per year. And no, a user does not equal a customer. A customer refers to a company that purchases a subscription to use Odoo. They might purchase a subscription of 10 users if they want to have 10 seats, 10 logins, or they might purchase 1 user or 100 users. So as a ready partner, you need to make sure you're selling 10 new users. That could be 1 customer with 10 users, or it could be 2 customers with 5 users each. All right. Next is let me see this. Without naming names, could you give an example of a use case where you provided beneficial support to one of your partners? Corey, do you want to go first?
Probably my favorite question. I'm very happy you asked. I'll give you an example from myself. I've been working with a partner for just over a year, and that particular partner had 1 employee when they started the journey with us as a learning partner, not even an official partner. Basically, what we did was we established boundaries around who does what, involvement, transparencies, a little bit of mutual trust, and quite a lot of ambition. I would say it was a nice balance of risk and reasonable thinking. What we basically did was aggressively went to market, knocked on doors, developed some outbound lead generation strategies, as well as our own lead assignation rules. And we sort of identified a couple of market spaces that meant a lot. Now, fortunately, this individual and the business were working as a service provider who they then upsold Odoo to. And it created a bit of a snowball effect where they also understood the value in sort of somewhat reactively and somewhat proactively hiring new employees. So skipping a few details because I'm conscious of time, in 1.5 years, they've now hired 11 new staff. There's now 12 employees in that business. It did take a bit of a leap of faith with us, so trust was developed first. They're hiring for 2 more. Commission is in the high 6 figures now, and we have a few major projects that are closing, and they are also an official partner. So if I had to summarize how it works from a precedent and a use case perspective, I would say the biggest wins are having the right level of ambition, trust, and that is a mutual thing, so we will develop that together as PM and partner. Understanding what your target market is and not being too ambiguous, and being a little bit arrogant, to be completely honest. Know your worth, try and upsell where you can, and don't be scared to knock on doors, and it really does work.
Yeah, great example. All right, another question that we have here is a really good one. How long does it take to get proficient, aka customer ready in Odoo? Coming from a background of CRM implementation and integration background. So first of all, it's great that you highlight what your background is. Like I mentioned before, a high value Odoo partner is someone that's going to come into the network with already some kind of expertise in something. It might be in other tech solutions, it might be in specific industries, or something that might potentially just differentiate you in some way, right? How long does it take to build up that Odoo expertise to make yourself Odoo ready? Well, we like to give a timeline of about 3 months for new partners, which is ambitious, I know. But if you are agile, if you move quickly, and if you take on the trainings that we offer, especially the bootcamp training, ideally as well the technical training as well, if you separate your resources into functional and technical, maybe even if you have someone else for sales, but don't worry if you don't, we can be your salespeople, then you can start your first project within the first 90 days. That's what we really like to target. It all depends on how much time you can commit, how much resources you can commit to the project of getting yourself off the ground as an Odoo partner. And remember, that first project that you're going to do, it might not be the most profitable project. It might be that you have to maybe give a favorable rate, or it's for one of your friends, or it's for a company that you've worked with for a long time. But that first project is all about getting a successful customer implementation under your belt and making a reference. That reference then is going to be the best salesperson you could hire. All right. Let's see another one. How about leads? I don't have any experience in finding clients. Great. For new partners, we often see this happen a lot. We get partners that come in from, let's say, technical background, maybe not super comfortable with the more extroverted, outgoing salesperson type role that we ask them to do. First of all, we train you. We train you in the commercials. We train you on how to do your outreach, how to do your discovery calls with your customers, how to do your demonstrations of customers, how to handle customer meetings, how to handle customer requests. That's all something that our partner management team is set up and designed to help with. And the majority of our partner managers as well, they spend time in the direct sales team. So that means that they have themselves worked on those sales cycles, worked on building customer relationships, building trust, and demonstrating the value of Odoo. Now, when it comes to finding those clients specifically, we're going to want to look at your specific situation. We're going to want to look at what customers have you already worked with? Who have you got that's already maybe in your corner that can help you? Next after that is, where are you located? Are there any events nearby? Are there any chambers of commerce that you can be a part of, any business network groups? There's tons and tons of stuff happening in Australia all the time. It's just about finding it. It's about showing up, talking to people, making connections. And yes, we do hope that as you grow and as you become more profitable as an Odoo partner, that you will also hire salespeople, because we believe it's very, very important to have that separation of responsibilities at work. All right.
And I would even add to that just quickly as well. Don't underestimate the power of just smiling and talking to somebody in person. We're in a digital age where certain platforms are probably, I would say, flooded with AI right now, and reach outs that get sort of thrown under the rug, to be completely honest. Knocking on a door, a little bit old school, but seeing a smile and actually talking to someone in person is very different from a temperature check perspective, and from the perspective of actually getting to know someone and being memorable than mass mail, for example. So I would urge you to value your presence as well.
Absolutely. All right. Here's a good one that I just saw. Mile wide, inch deep. Functionality seems to be a common criticism of Odoo, and of course other ERPs in general. How do you respond to this concern? So I see this question very much as, do we want best in class? Do we want a software that focuses only on one business function? Or do we want a generalist solution that can focus on multiple solutions? My first response to that criticism would be that Odoo is not inch deep. It is a very, very complex solution depending on what module you want to look at. We have got companies, and in fact, in my experience, especially working in the APAC office, I would have customers looking into Odoo thinking that it was just an inventory system, or thinking that it was just for manufacturing, or maybe for field service, or maybe just a CRM. Most of the time, it was actually us pushing to the customers, okay, we've got this, but we've also got this as well. So I would say that it's really not inch deep. There is a whole breadth of functionality. Most of the time, it's that Odoo is positioned to be easy to use. You see that on the website. You see that in our marketing as well. We have a clean interface. We target towards SMEs a lot of the time. So we don't want to overburden people with complexity, right? Don't want to point to other softwares, but you might have some ideas. For a user, we want to be clean. We want to be easy to use, intuitive. But for a partner, for an integrator, for someone who's actually doing the implementation, it's a lot more complex than that. You want anything, Corey?
Look, to be honest, I think one of the biggest things that people tend to miss when they explore Odoo for the first time, when they trial Odoo for the first time, or even try to assess capability is A, there is documentation online, which covers quite a lot more than you would expect. And B, people don't necessarily realize, because they may not live and breathe it like we do, like our partners do, just how much can happen with a tick of a box or a click of a button. There is a lot that can be unpacked and unraveled if you, say, for example, combine the right modules together and use some integrated functionality. And that is a very real word, integrated. You may not necessarily see crossover or an expansion of functionality if you install one module in a free trial. But as you download multiple and start to grow into it a little bit more, you realize that more buttons are selectable in config, which the end user is not going to have to worry about, which is why it's so critical for us to learn it in this partnership network. But that inch-deep analogy is probably very much equally as responsible to the people who only look at Odoo at that surface level and don't take that deeper dive and that interest in unraveling just how much it can actually do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll keep the questions going as we see a lot, so it's really great. One question here is, what's the cost of becoming an Odoo partner? So yes, becoming an Odoo partner does have a cost. You need to pay to get access to all of those benefits that we've mentioned. We have 2 tiers. One is the learning partnership. That is the lower entry cost level, where you'll get access to the technical resources, such as the source code, access to sandbox environments, etc. And then you have the official partnership tier. Now, the official partnership is slightly more expensive. To discuss all of the costs, I recommend getting in touch with our partnership recruitment team. Very lovely people. Like I said, you can do so by going to our website, book a meeting with a partnership expert. For those of you that registered through our website for this event, they'll probably be in touch with you already, if not very soon, to look into those specific costs. Training also has a cost. Our service team working with you, that is something that we do charge for, and certifications as well. But yeah, I recommend getting in touch with the partnership recruitment team. They will go through your specific case. They will be able to talk you through what your business model will look like with Odoo, what are the potential costs, what are the potential returns, and be able to show you all of that. All right. Next, we have how many active partners are currently listed in Australia? So in Australia, we have over 100 partners. Not all of them are listed. So like I said, we have that learning partnership level, and we have the official partnership level. On the official partnership level, I believe there's around 30. In Queensland specifically, that's part of the question, in Queensland specifically, I believe it's about 6 or 7. Okay. Here's a good one. We registered Odoo accountants for Australia. Great. That's amazing. Get in touch. We just wanted to know when payroll with ATO and STP connections will be established. Does Odoo cover single touch payroll, same day super, and activity statements? Big question, the payroll. So yes, Odoo is compliant with the ATO. We have approval from the ATO. We have STP phase 2 payroll. However, in the database itself, there are 2 different levels of using that payroll. Or there's a setting right now in the system, which is testing or production. If you go into production, then your data, your payroll data, etc., will be sent through the clearinghouse server through to the ATO. And if it's wrong, then, and everyone does it and it's all wrong, then there could be problems for us. So we are taking a beta approach to rolling out payroll. We've already started doing that with some of our trusted official partners in Australia, as well as some small direct clients as well. So it will be available en masse for everyone at some stage. However, for now, if you're interested in testing it, you can do so by installing an Odoo trial, installing payroll, making sure that you've installed the right localizations, and you can actually test your pay runs on the testing server right now. If you want to go into production, then you can reach out to your partner manager, or you can reach out to your customer success representative, and we can have a look at what that might look like. All right. One question here is the partner commission for renewals the same as for new business? Corey, do you want to answer that?
Yes. That's the simple answer. I don't think we really need to take a deeper dive further than that, do we?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It's going to be the same. There's no drop off. The renewals is the same. However, one important thing to note here is that on a customer's first year of their Odoo license, they get a 20% discount on their initially ordered users. We call this the first year discount. So when they renew for the second year, they will be paying a slightly higher price, 20% higher price. So your commissions will also reflect that. But no, by and large, they are the same. Right, another one here. Which industries would you think Odoo Standard is most suitable for? Corey?
That's a very good question. There's a couple. I mean, the ones that we already spoke about today immediately come to mind. I think because Odoo Standard does so many things quite comfortably out of the box, you're not necessarily bound by industry. To be completely transparent with you, I would recommend it for very new emerging businesses. I would recommend it for businesses that may need to align SOPs with a system as opposed to the other way around. And I would even recommend it for sole proprietors, people starting up new businesses for themselves, your startups, your entrepreneurial types. The industry itself, look, there are some caveats to what I'm saying, but generally speaking, you can unpack quite a lot of value with that standard solution fairly quickly. If you take into consideration the quick start methodology as well and how the scalable and modular approach sort of supports that growth, then the standard plan can fit most industries, I would say. If you wanted to stay with something tried and true, I would stick to professional services, general sales and e-commerce, so you can take advantage of the website suite, for example. And I would say distribution, wholesale, trade.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, another one here is what do developing extra modules, altering existing modules, so basically doing developments, doing customizations in Odoo Standard, how does this impact on upgrades and updates of the core modules? It's a great question, and we get it a lot. As a partner, your responsibility is to implement Odoo, and you can add your value adds on top of that. That can be in the form of custom modules, it can be in the form of developments, etc. Now, when it comes time to upgrade the customer's database to a newer version of Odoo, Odoo will take care of all of the base code. So the source code of Odoo Enterprise, that will be handled by our upgrade team. However, any additional lines of code on top, which we can count with a very simple command, they need to be handled by you, the partner, right? We do have a maintenance contract that we can give to the customer that will be charged at a certain rate per 100 lines of code per month. That's of extra development lines of code. We can do that. However, we also see partners offering their own maintenance contract with customers. Again, we've mentioned before, but we really recommend to stick to standard as much as possible. I was talking to someone yesterday, and I mentioned that look, a lot of the time these software implementation projects, whatever software it is, they're not really about software. They're about people. They're about change management. And if you can change a workflow to match Odoo, if you can get people to change the way they work, to work closer to Odoo standard, you're going to save time. You're going to save complexity. You're going to keep things simple. You're going to drive more value for the customer. You're going to be able to deliver more projects, right? That is the most profitable stream. Some partners think that I need to develop, and then I have $1 million worth of maintenance that I'm going to be doing every year. Customers might not be okay with that. If they're okay with that, then great, but not. It can sometimes leave a bit of a bad taste. So be careful with how you customize. And if you are going to add something on top, make sure it's in your contract with the customer that this needs to be maintained by you, the partner. All right, I saw another good one here, which was Mark on the marketing side. Someone said that they saw the billboards in their area. Love to know what area you're in. Have recently gone down. Is there a new marketing campaign coming? Well, yeah, we have a great marketing team. They're behind this production today, who are working on lots and lots of different ways of pushing our brand image and promoting us and partners in the market in Australia. We have adverts on social media. So I'm sure some of you might have come across this webinar via Facebook maybe or Google. We have adverts in podcasts. So for those of you that are listening to business podcasts and things like that, you'll be able to see or listen to our ads that we have there. We have buses in the Gold Coast wrapped in Odoo branding as well. And we're going to be doing many, many more things as well into the future. All right. Another question is, do you need to be, oh no, wait. All right, here's an interesting one. Who is legally in the hot seat when things go wrong with an installation? Who is responsible for the product's performance under Australian law, Odoo or the installing selling partner? very, very important question, very, very important answer. We have an enterprise agreement with all of our customers. It's called the Odoo Enterprise Agreement. We also have partnership agreements with all of our partners. We need to make it very clear that Odoo, and it says this in the agreement, Odoo is provided out of the box as is, right? Any execution of that, any implementation of Odoo, it will fall under the responsibility of that service implementer, right? All of the things we've talked about today, all of the services, all of the support that we provide you is to make sure that you're ready to deliver good implementations. Now, does that mean that you're the only one responsible for the implementation? Absolutely not. Who else is responsible for the implementation? The customer. Need to make sure, and it's part of our implementation methodology, that customers share their responsibility in a successful implementation. We don't want a situation where customer expects the world and they expect it all to happen without them lifting a finger. We all know that ERP, digital transformation projects, take two to tango, right? You need the implementer, you need the partner. And of course, Odoo as well, we will be there with a customer account manager to help mediate any potential situations like that, to be able to identify issues before they arise as well by having regular health check-ins with the customer after the implementation. And with your partner manager, you'll be able to go through the scope of the project, and they'll be able to give you advice on what you should be proposing for an implementation. But at the end of the day, you need to have a contract with your customer, which is a service agreement, that will make it clear that Odoo is fixing bugs. If there are bugs, Odoo fixes bugs in the source code. That's part of our contract, absolutely. But you are the service implementer.
And just to add to that as well, your partner manager is somebody that you can bounce ideas for your service agreement off of. We do have templates and guidelines for successful proposals around who absorbs specific risks and who owns what IP, for example. So if you combine the EA with the partnership agreement with your service agreement that we've also liaised on, you're going to be fairly secure when it comes to delivering the services and who owns what risk, basically.
All right, two more questions before we have to wrap up. Well, this is kind of three questions actually, but is there an integration with the banks in Australia? So in Australia, Odoo in general, we connect to financial institutions through third parties, right? We don't have direct integrations with financial institutions. We operate globally. There's a lot of financial institutions around the world. So we use third parties. We use third parties such as Yodlee, such as SaltEdge. And in Australia, we have a relationship with a company called Basic. Basic does open banking integrations with banks and financial institutions around Australia. And that's what you're using when you connect your bank with Odoo in Australia. Right, does the training address customers focused on Prem? Our training addresses the functionalities of Odoo. We're talking about the bootcamp here in technical training. We're talking about Odoo in general, right? It's not necessarily looking specifically at one hosting environment or another. It applies to all types of implementations. However, that being said, we have documentation for how to deliver Odoo projects on your own servers, but we do not work on other platforms. We do not, we won't give you advice on how to install another software or how to set up your own server or something like that. So just keep that in mind. Last one, is there any training marketing tools provided to partners to reach out to potential customers? This one I think we've covered. Corey, do you want to add anything else?
If I wanted to add a little comment on that, look, we can either work with you as a partner manager to develop something unique to yourself. We can book some time if we've got it and actually just work to develop whatever makes the most sense, whether it is marketing material, whether it is a strategy. And just collectively in the team, day to day, we do collaborate a fair bit on this topic. And I would say continuous improvement is the best way to summarize how we manage ancillaries for marketing and helping you go to market. So we can definitely work with you on that, and you'll also benefit from what we've already developed and what we continue to develop proactively as well in the partnerships team.
Absolutely. I'll just do one real quick one because I see someone has posted the same one a couple of times, so I want to make sure that we answer it, which is, do you have to be a partner to list and sell an extension on your store? The answer is no, you don't have to be a partner if you want to advertise something on the Odoo App Store. There are vendor guidelines though. So you'll see on the App Store as well, there's a lot of modules that are for the community version as well. And we don't have a partner program for Odoo Community. That is something, Odoo Community is 100% free. So that is something that the community works on. However, to access the Odoo Enterprise source code to build, enterprise apps, you will need to be a partner. Last one is, whether tax returns can be lodged to the ATO directly from Odoo, and the answer is no. You can generate BAS reports from Odoo Accounting. It's part of our localization. You can generate basically the entire BAS, but it won't lodge directly to the ATO. You'll have to take the values and paste them into your portal with the ATO.
Okay.
All right, that about wraps us up for today. So thank you so much for joining us. I hope you learned a lot. Again, if you want to find out more, if you want to sign up, get in touch with our partnership recruitment team via our website. Corey?
Yeah, look, it's our personal opinion that Odoo is going to take over. It's going to be used by everybody. Growth is very, very strong. So I would say this is a very, very good opportunity for you to get on board and jump on the ship, basically. It's probably around a 1% market share right now in the ERP landscape, but once upon a time, so was Apple. So who's to say where we're going to be in a few years? We want to get you onboarded sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.